The clock in Kensington Palace's immense main hall chimed 2 in the morning. A deep, heavy sound that swallowed the lighter, metallic tick of smaller timepieces. Diana was awake. Not from insomnia, but from a calculated, restless energy that had replaced her earlier anxiety. She was no longer just the trapped princess. She was a woman charting her own escape, and tonight required a risk. In the small, private study she had claimed for her own after the divorce, a single lamp cast an elliptical pool of gold onto the mahogany desk. On it lay a heavy, manila envelope, unmarked save for a single, small red seal. A seal that did not belong to the palace, nor the government, but a discreet legal firm known only to a very few. She traced the outline of the seal with a fingertip. It had been delivered an hour earlier by a man she trusted implicitly, a former aide who had grown weary of the system's rigid silence. His words still echoed in the quiet room. "This is about their future, not yours. Theirs." Inside was not a check, not a love letter, but a document detailing a highly sensitive, long-term legal strategy regarding the future roles of Princes William and Harry. It outlined a specific, politically motivated clause that, if enacted upon the Queen's passing, would drastically restrict the freedoms of her sons. A clause designed to ensure absolute continuity, even at the cost of personal choice. It was the system fighting back, years in advance. Diana felt a cold dread settle in her stomach, a feeling far heavier than the public scrutiny she normally endured. She hadn't left the royal family only to have the royal machine reach out and clamp down on her boys. She read the final paragraph again, the legalese blurring with the exhaustion. It was undeniable. This was a silent coup, a generational chokehold disguised as constitutional planning. She could not speak of this to Charles. The information was too incendiary, too internal. She could not bring it to the Queen. It was sanctioned by the very people the Queen trusted. There was only one way to neutralize it, a public action so unexpected, so powerful, that it would shift the national conversation and render the clause politically unworkable. A single, indelible act that would make her indispensable to the people, forcing the firm to back down. She walked across the room to a small, antique globe, her gaze unfocused. Her divorce had freed her to travel, to speak, to choose her own causes. She was planning a trip to Angola to highlight the tragedy of landmines, a cause viewed by some government officials as too political for a former royal. That was it. She had been considering the trip as a matter of humanitarian duty. Now, it was a weapon. She wouldn't just meet victims. She would redefine what it meant to be royal, making her human connection so palpable, so essential to the crown's global image, that any future attempt to sideline her or her sons would trigger a public relations disaster of epic proportions. She returned to the desk, not to read the document again, but to pull a map of Angola toward her. Her hand was steady now, her breathing deep. She hadn't realized how completely she had been waiting for a true mission, a fight where the stakes were not her own happiness, but the well-being of her children. The ghost of the crown, the perpetual weight of expectation and protocol, had tried to silence her, but tonight, she had found its secret Achilles heel. The weeks following the midnight delivery of the dossier were characterized by a quiet, fierce efficiency. Diana's public life seemed scattered, a glamorous charity gala here, a quick visit to a cancer ward there, but her private hours were consumed by a singular focus, Angola. She bypassed the official royal security detail and the Foreign Office, knowing any involvement from them would smother her mission in red tape and political compromise. Instead, she worked with a small, vetted team from the charity, the Halo Trust. The meetings were held not at Kensington, but in the discreet back rooms of London clubs or friends' apartments, places where a princess could blend into the background. "They will call it grandstanding, Your Royal Highness," warned Major Danforth, a bluff, plain-speaking man from Halo who understood the military, the mines, and the press better than any courtier. "They'll say it's too political, too dangerous." Diana, poring over maps marked with crimson circles indicating minefields, met his gaze. "They call everything I do political, Major. The difference now is that this time, it is political. I want to shift the gravity of what I represent. I need a photograph that changes everything. One that says, you cannot remove me from the global stage without tearing down a piece of hope." Her most immediate obstacle, however, was not the mines but the palace's private secretary, Sir Reginald Thorne. He cornered her in a corridor one frigid morning. "Princess." Thorne's voice was low, strained, a silk-covered threat. "The Foreign Office is strongly advising against this trip. Angola is volatile. More importantly, this is a distraction. You are making your sons vulnerable by drawing undue attention to yourself and your agenda." Diana leaned in, her voice a calm, chilling counterpoint to his agitation. "My agenda, Sir Reginald, is to ensure my sons do not inherit a life that is defined solely by the rigid paranoia of your institution. I know what you are planning. I know about the contingency clauses. Tell your masters, if they continue to plot behind closed doors, I will ensure those doors are blown wide open by the press, piece by painful piece." The journey to Angola was brutal. The heat was a physical enemy, the dust perpetual, and the sight of children with missing limbs a constant, sickening reminder of the stakes. The contrast with her London life was absolute. She traded silks for sturdy khakis, diamonds for determination. The pivotal moment came at a minefield clearance site outside Huambo. A halo technician, a young Angolan man named Miguel, was demonstrating the painstaking, often terrifying process of probing the earth. As the sun began to set, casting long, dramatic shadows across the scarred landscape, Diana watched Miguel carefully marking the ground. She realized what she had to do. The world needed to see vulnerability, not distance. It needed to see a woman, stripped of her royal title, risking her life for a humanitarian cause. She approached the designated danger zone, the line demarcated by yellow tape. The security detail tensed. The photographers, exhausted and beginning to pack up, suddenly swung their lenses back. Diana walked to the yellow tape. She looked down at her feet, then turned to Miguel. "Miguel," she said, her voice clear. Show me how you walk." She stepped over the yellow tape and into the cleared path leading towards the heart of the dormant minefield. Her mind was focused entirely on the image she was creating. A solitary figure, protected only by her faith in the demining work, utterly exposed. She walked several paces into the field, turned, and knelt beside a red warning sign. She then reached out a gloved hand and shook the hand of a mine victim in a wheelchair, who had been brought close to the perimeter. For the cameras, the scene was breathtaking. For Diana, the message was internal, aimed at the stiff necks back in London. The machine could try to erase her, but it could not erase the power of that image. The fallout from Angola was instantaneous and precisely what Diana had engineered. The British media was split. Half hailed her as a saint, a courageous diplomat of compassion. The other half, fueled by unnamed government sources, condemned her as a dangerous, politically naive rogue. Back in London, the backlash was even more severe. The senior echelons of government and the palace were in a state of crisis. They had intended to quietly sideline the former Princess of Wales. Instead, she had become an unstoppable, global force, whose popularity dwarfed that of the entire senior royal family combined. The day after the Huambo photograph ran on every front page worldwide, Sir Reginald Thorne requested a meeting. This time, he did not try to hide his panic or his resignation. He met her in her drawing room, not his office, a concession that spoke volumes. "Princess," Thorne began, his voice devoid of its usual frosty control. "You have achieved what no one thought possible. You have, quite effectively, made yourself indispensable to the global standing of the crown. The landmine campaign will be a Nobel contender. The public adores you." He paused, looking directly at her with exhausted defeat. "You have won." Diana sat straight, showing no sign of triumph. "And the contingency planning for my sons?" she asked, her voice steady. Thorne swallowed hard. "That document has been voided. Shredded. Legally eliminated. Its existence will never be acknowledged, and no further attempts will be made to legislate the personal freedoms of the Princes of Wales and of Sussex. They will be given the space to choose their own lives, within reason. That is the agreement." The weight of 2 years of secret struggle lifted from Diana's shoulders. She had done it. She had secured the future she wanted for her children. "And what is the price for this agreement, Sir Reginald?" Diana asked, knowing all deals with the palace came with a cost. Thorne straightened his tie, the old formality briefly returning. "The price, Princess, is silence. Complete, absolute, and lasting silence about the contents and the existence of that document. You must never, under any circumstances, reveal the political machinations behind your fight for William and Harry. If that information were to leak, it would cause a constitutional crisis that would destabilize the monarchy. Diana considered this. Her silence was a small price for her son's freedom. I agree. The matter is closed. Consider it buried. With a nod, Thorne rose, looking older and deeply defeated. He had tried to protect the institution. Diana had protected her blood. The victory was hers, secured by a single act of radical, courageous empathy on a dusty Angolan road. In the weeks following Sir Reginald Thorne's departure, a quiet sense of triumph settled over Diana. The ominous constitutional letter was indeed gone. William and Harry were secured. Their liberty to be raised as individuals, not just as heirs, had been won. With the pressure gone, Diana started to truly live her own life. Her focus was clear: maximize time with her sons and continue her humanitarian work. It was in this period that her holiday began, at the invitation of Egyptian businessman Dodi Fade. This relationship was more than a summer fling for Diana. It represented a genuine break from the English establishment and its media apparatus. The life Dodi offered was one of luxury and protection, far beyond the reach of palace walls and protocol. Yet, this new freedom carried an unforeseen risk. Diana had underestimated the global reach of Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, and his numerous commercial and political rivals. She was now in the orbit of a powerful figure who harbored personal enmity against the British establishment. More critically, the political victory Diana had won, her sudden indispensability, combined with the relationship with Dodi, began to be viewed as an opportunity by forces hostile to the crown. Despite the silent agreement in London, powerful factions within and surrounding the royal circle continued to view Diana's international popularity and the possibility of her remarrying Dodi as an immense threat. For them, Diana had become an uncontainable ghost. As the summer progressed, the swarm of paparazzi gathering around the yachts and villas was no longer just a nuisance. It had become an organized peril. Every step, every kiss, every moment of laughter was proof of Diana's victory to the secret opposition, and that proof could not be allowed to continue indefinitely. As the final days of that fateful August arrived, everything culminated in Paris. Diana was eager to return to her sons. She was on the verge of building a new life with new strength and new purpose. The rushed exit from the hotel's back door, the attempt to evade the press, the high speed, it was not merely a driver's error. It was the cost of a single, decisive moment. That night, Diana had broken free from Sir Reginald's strictures and the system's chains. But that freedom resulted in an encounter with a more vicious, more unpredictable force: the toxic intersection of global media, financial interest, and political paranoia. When the car slammed into the concrete pillar in the tunnel, Diana's personal revolution paid the most unexpected and tragic price for the victory she had achieved. The ominous letter had been burned. Her sons were safe, that was her triumph. But the chance to proclaim that triumph to the world was silenced forever in that tunnel. Diana's story, from that day on, remained an echo of a people's revolt against the crown's silent victory. She had succeeded in making her voice heard by the multitudes. What remained was the heartbreaking, unforgettable resonance of a woman who had won her greatest war, the fight for her children's future. She died in Paris that night, not just a princess, but the vibrant symbol of freedom and purpose she had so recently found.